Women Now brings you a scintillating panel of bright speakers and thinkers on a whole range of topics and ideas that continually burn in our minds, bringing out the multifaceted woman of today who has emerged and metamorphosized into a dynamic person of the world. The new face of the Indian American woman, the strong decision-making ideas building woman, attuned to the needs and developments of the home and society. The woman of today is not just a homemaker, but also a career builder and architect of society. The Indian American woman has contributed greatly to shaping the Valley and has risen in respect and status among the eminent and the elite. The window to the woman's mind and heart. The show to stir the senses. Women Now, because every woman is special.
I'm Deepak Chopra and you're watching Women Now.
Women Now, it's a show that empowers women just as myself to come out of our shells and try to be the best woman that we can be and be proud of who we are and where we come from.
So what do you expect to see on Women Now?
I think that what you continue to do is bring a voice to the women in terms of all of the facets, whether it's intellectual, whether it's business, whether it's fashion, whether it's creativity, it's everything, and I hope you keep doing that.
We have Charleston Pierce, the man behind the fabulous fashion show, worked very hard. Charleston, welcome. Woo! Tell me, what are we going to see tonight?
You're going to see a lot of synergy, a lot of fashion. First of all, happy anniversary.
Thank you so much. 1 year, the first year, the milestone year for us.
I'm so excited for you, for the show, for all your hosts. It's been nothing but amazing synergy, partnering with you, working with you. I'm so honored to be here. I love your station, love what you're doing. So glad you're here. Congratulations.
Tell me, what do you want to see in Women Now in the coming year?
I think Women Now has done a terrific start. You have done a terrific start.
Thank you.
I always admire when you started your journalism career, you always had a passion, and I think you found your sweet spot. You're continuing to do. I think it now go a little mainstream, expand the audience, market expansion. Your content is continuously improving, and I'm sure you'll get better and better content. Important thing is, can you take this show to India, where a lot of women are now looking up to what women are doing here, or elsewhere for that matter. So I think you are on the right track. Just do two things. Get this show to many other than just purely focused on the ethnic. And I know you're doing a couple of shows with more, mainstream.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, I'm sure our viewers would want to get one advice from you. It's something that you want to leave the viewers with tonight.
No, I'm not in the business of giving advice. We have lots of gurus and pandits who give the advice. I think that, my basic point is that people should focus on and do what they're passionate about it. And if they do the correct focus and do it right, no matter what you do, whether you're doing Women Now or I'm trying to manage a private equity fund, you will do well.
This seems like you're bringing about a huge change by empowering women. And you chose India, food security, and you chose women as your entry point. Tell us the significance of all.
Well, women farmers in India are the significant food producers of the country. 60 to 80% of the farm work is done by women. And unfortunately, in spite of the tremendous contributions women make to the economic and food security of their families, they're not considered as farmers. They are denied access to land rights, access to education and other opportunities to really make a difference in their communities. And everywhere I went in India, interviewing women farmers in northern India and southern India, what was clear was the impact of climate change. We're talking about recurring floods and recurring droughts on the health of women and girls, and how that was impacting their food security. And the stories that the women shared was tremendous, because the impact of climate change on girls and women is profound. For example, girls in Rajasthan can spend a quarter of the day just collecting water for their families. Similarly, it is the gendered roles of women and girls to take care of the fuel needs of the families. So what happens if the drought goes on for 3 years? What happens when forests are cut down? All this is it's a human rights issue, right to education, right to health, right to well-being.
watching Women Now! Woo!
Experimentation with drugs and alcohol during adolescence is common. Unfortunately, teenagers often don't see the link between their actions today and the consequence tomorrow. They also have a tendency to feel indestructible and immune to all the problems that others experience. Using alcohol and tobacco at an early age has negative health effects. While some teens will experiment and stop or continue to use occasionally without significant problems, others may develop a dependency, moving on to more dangerous drugs and causing a significant harm to themselves and possibly others. So today we want to discuss this. I have Manish here. Manish, you've been through high school and all those teenage years over here. Tell us your experience and how you think we should be changing.
Well, I think the first time any of us really were exposed to the idea of drugs was probably 5th grade. And somebody showed up.
5th grade?
Yeah, somebody showed up on campus and he had like his little guy that was trying to experiment with it and say, hey, why don't you guys try this and that? And this was a good neighborhood. It wasn't a bad neighborhood. And I think
now,
that
what do they bring?
They brought different types of drugs and different types of things, and marijuana was the most.
Candy?
No, just like, that, hey, kids, why don't you try this? Here's a marijuana joint, or here's some, something more severe, pills of some kinds, and they were trying to pass them around, and they had a few takers, for sure.
This is Ishmeet Narula, and you're watching Women Now.
Tell us a little bit about the laws that protect those people who are in an abusive situation.
Well, that's one of the topics that has always been close to my heart. Actually, the first case I took was what we call a VAWA petition. VAWA stands for Violence Against Women Act. But actually it can be used for all spouses. That means it can be used for men and women. What happens is, whenever you file for a marriage petition, unfortunately, oftentimes the US citizen or the green card holder will take advantage of the person who's benefiting from that. So they will make them do whatever they want, abuse them whatever way they want, because they think, well, if you don't do it, guess what?
Yeah.
We'll get you deported. But that's not the reality. The truth is that more they do that to them, more we can use that down the road to help them in a VAWA petitions. VAWA has been enacted really so powerfully that sometimes cases in regular marriage you cannot win, you can win under VAWA. So
is it important for that person in that situation to track or keep a log of all the abuses that is happening to be able to prove it through VAWA at a later age?
Yes and no. Just to give you an example, abuse can take different forms. You have abuse, which is the physical one, where we have the police coming, that's pretty clear, and you will have the police report. The second one also is mental abuse, mental or basically verbal abuse. And then the third one is sexual abuse. That's what most people don't understand. Physical is pretty obvious, as I mentioned. But the mental one is where people get always confused. What is mental abuse? Mental abuse can be anything from simple things like telling you, oh, you come from a jungle. I had a client where the husband will always tell her, you know what, you come from some
and
island.
I saved you from the jungle. So here
Exactly.
I am, I
You are
saved
in
you.
America.
I picked you up from the jungle, I gave you this life, you better listen to what I say.
Always in the back of my mind, there was this thought, most often people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but somehow people will never forget how you made them feel.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
I'll never forget how you make me feel.
And likewise, I care about you. You're a great friend of mine. And in the words of Sai Baba, love one another, help others to rise to higher levels simply by pouring out love, right?
You love me?
Absolutely. Love is
Totally.
infectious and the greatest healing energy. And I think that that's true. So you know what? Let's spread the love. Take care and see you next week.
And spread the love.
Absolutely. And this is your platform, our platform, everybody's platform. So be sure to write to us at info@womennow.tv. Facebook us at Women Now TV, and we look forward to seeing you next week, same time, same place.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Manish.
Thank
you,
you.
viewers, for watching us today.